Good afternoon, everyone, from Holy Rosary. I'm inside in the presbytery. I think in a different room than you've probably seen before. I'm in my sitting room. It's too bright to be in the conservatory, too cold and windy to be outside. And I thought, well, you haven't been in this room before, so I thought, well, why not? I remember first coming in this room when Father O'Sullivan was the parish priest here, and I came to see him in this room once. And it's a lovely room. I mean, you can't see much of it, but I'm not showing you too much because somebody might come and steal the stuff in it if I show you too much. So I hope you've had a good day today. It's been quite pleasant weather-wise. I have been busy today, mostly synod things today, trying to plan things for the synod and wondering what we should do. So writing a possible rearrangement and a revised synod plan, but I can't say any more than that because it's an Archbishop decision, not mine. So, but that's been and you have to have conversations with lots of people about that. So that's been most of my day today. It's the feast of Our Lady of Fatima today, and it made me think. And if you were at Mass this morning, I shared something about a pilgrimage that we did with St. Teresa's and St. Oswald's and St. Mary Magdalene's to Fatima a few years ago, and it was a great experience. We went to Fatima, to Santiago de Compostela and to Lourdes, and you might think that sounds like a lot of driving, and it was, but actually it went very quickly, and it was great fun, and we had a wonderful time. So it just made me think today of some of those wonderful pilgrimage experiences. And it's funny, it links with the synod, because at the beginning of the week I was working with a few people on discerning the proposals that have come in for the fourth synod theme. And one of the proposals that has emerged, and I'm so not sorry I'm allowed to tell you this, but because a number of people put it in their proposals. There were 790 or something proposals came in. But one of the things that was strongly suggested was that parishes should, and it wasn't me who suggested this, but parishes to build community, because that's the theme, building community and nurturing belonging. They said it's really important you have things like pilgrimages and days out and all those kind of things. So today I've been thinking in the odd moments I've had about some of the wonderful pilgrimages and days out we've had. I've always done and loved doing days out and pilgrimages. I mean, here from Holy Rosary we should have been having a pilgrimage to the Holy Land at the beginning of July. So we've postponed that pilgrimage till March, please God. But it's a wonderful way that people get to know each other in all sorts of different ways. So even going on a coach somewhere, we've had, parish trips to theatres. Last few years we've done a parish night out for parish workers, and just sitting on a coach with somebody makes a huge difference to your relationship with them. So I'm thinking of some of the pilgrimages. Some of you who are, are on Facebook will have seen some of those, will have been part of some of those. I mean, sometimes, a pilgrimage, I suppose by nature has to be religious. So we once went to Euro Disney. In fact, we twice went to Euro Disney when I was at St. Philomena's. And it was so much fun. It was in the early days of Euro Disney. And we went at a time of year when it wasn't busy. And we had an absolutely fantastic time. And I was thinking, one of the things I always remember was one time we went and it wasn't busy, so you didn't have to queue up. If you've ever been to one of those theme parks, you spend your whole time queuing up. And I'm not a great one for roller coasters, but there was one called Space Mountain in Euro Disney. And I went on Space Mountain 5 times on the run because there was nobody queuing up. And I went with a lady called Mary Rocks, who was, good for a laugh and, would have fun, and we screamed and laughed and smiled and all those things. And on the 5th time, as we were walking through the corridor to get onto the ride, she pointed out to me this sign, and it said, "If you've got heart condition, please do not go on this ride." And she said to me, "Father Philip, how many times have we been on?" I said, "We've been on 4 times. She said, "You do know I've got a heart condition, don't you?" Well, of course I didn't know. And I was mortified, but actually she went on for the 5th time. And we just had great fun. I mean, so, you know, and the people who went, you know, you have a special bond, and you can share stories, you can do all sorts of things. And it was just, you know, it's wonderful. So I mean, so Euro Disney isn't a kind of traditional pilgrimage, but it was fantastic. It was great fun. I mean, I'm just noticed Dave Green's watching. So Dave and Shirley came with us once to a pilgrimage. We went to Assisi. I think I've told you a little bit about Assisi when I was doing the tea and chat from the other room, the dining room, with the pictures of Assisi. But we had a fantastic pilgrimage to Assisi. And just to spend time, I mean, it helped. The weather was beautiful. We were in a hotel just outside Assisi, where there was a wonderful swimming pool, and it was just wonderful. If you ever come on a pilgrimage with me, we pray hard, we eat well, we have a drink, and we play hard as well. You know, always go somewhere nice. You know, so that, because I always think it's people's holiday as well as a pilgrimage. Lourdes is obviously a special place to go on pilgrimage, and I've been a number of times with different people to Lourdes, and it's always a wonderful time that you go through all sorts of different feelings and emotions, and it's great. I mean, one of the nicest pilgrimages, and it's not one many people do, we did a pilgrimage to Venice and Padua. I mean, I love Venice. Venice is one of those places you have to go to. So, you know, I kind of thought, well, how do you make Venice into a pilgrimage? Well, you know, Venice is very near Padua, so I thought, well, okay, we can do St. Anthony of Padua and Venice. But Venice is a wonderful pilgrimage destination. I mean, there are beautiful places. I went when I was in Our Lady of the Assumption, and on one of the islands, I mean, quite a way out of Venice, there's an island, and there's a beautiful shrine, a church to Our Lady of the Assumption. I've got a picture of it somewhere. I don't think it's in this room. I should have thought this through and shown it you at some point. But it was wonderful. So Venice and Padua I recommend as a pilgrimage destination. And again, I mean, it was wonderful because we bought a 7-day pass for the Vaporettos. So you could get all round Venice and go to all sorts of different places. And it was wonderful. It was a really lovely experience. So, I mean, so there's that. And, you know, as I said this morning, Fatima was a great experience. So, Paul and Rachel went to Venice on honeymoon. Well, it's one of those memories, it's one of those places I think everybody should go to. I mean, please God, you know, not this year, but, you know, in future years, we'll be able to do all sorts of pilgrimages. We had, so Mary Lowe's reminding me, we went to Whitby and we stayed in Sneaton Castle. Whitby, St Hilda's Abbey. Hilda was a very powerful woman, so we had a great time in Whitby. Again, the weather was beautiful. We had a day on the beach in Scarborough, I remember, and it was absolutely wonderful. Rachel nearly gave the waiter a £50 tip for a drink. Well, yeah, things can be very expensive in Venice if you're not careful. So, I mean, I think things like pilgrimages and days out, and I know pilgrimages are expensive and, you know, not everybody can afford to go on pilgrimages, but I've always tried when we've had days out, you know, that we've subsidised them, we've made them as reasonable as possible. So everybody can come and we can build community, because that's what a parish is, isn't it? It's all sorts of different people from all different ways of life who'd never meet together except here in, you know, in the church, in the parish, and it's a wonderful experience. And you meet all sorts of people who you'd never meet anywhere else, and it's one of the great joys of a parish. I think it's one of the things we're all missing at the moment, because we can't meet all those very different people who we bump into, who you sit behind, who you sit next to in church, who come from the same parish but totally different way of life often, totally different backgrounds, and yet we come together, brought together to celebrate our faith. So I hope you've had a good day today. I hope you can enjoy this evening. My brother's going to ring me this evening. I had fun yesterday evening. I went to Asda and on my way home ended flat on my face. I've got some bruising on my face to show it, and my hands are a bit sore today, but never mind. I wasn't drunk, I just missed my footing on the pavement, and I felt an absolute idiot. But never mind, it's good for me. It reminds me to keep my mind on what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything, but I obviously wasn't concentrating. So I hope you have a good day, and we'll have tea and chat tomorrow. We'll have Mass tomorrow. I've got a funeral tomorrow straight after Mass, so I'm going to be a little bit prompter than usual with Mass tomorrow. And then I've got to talk with the Archbishop tomorrow again, and we'll meet for tea and chat at 5 o'clock tomorrow. So take care everyone, look after yourselves, and God bless all.